What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Blake and Blake Sports here on a Sunday afternoon. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with
Mr. Blake Anthony himself, and this is Blake and Blake Sports.
Yes. By the way, I like the art rendering of me and you with the sunglasses. That's truly you, but me, that's about 10 or 15 years ago. You need to update that. We need a little salt and pepper in that beard.
We ain't gonna do no salt and pepper here. Salt and pepper.
We need realism here because that's not me. I like the picture though, but
we can get you there. We get you some of that. What they say in Bad Boys? Get you that cocoa bean that Mike used on the grave with the cocoa bean and get it up.
Bro, I'm rocking with the salt and pepper. I'm rocking it, dude. This is my look. I'm the Rolex reporter, by the way. What time is it? It's my time. And of course, for the Tampa Bay sports fans of this show, Go Bucs fans, Lightning fans, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning yesterday. And then, of course, your Tampa Bay Rays fans up there, Rays up. I got to give them the G.
Drink up.
Yes, the Rays taking already two from the Yankees Friday and Saturday, especially winning an extra innings yesterday versus the New York Yankees. Yankees lose. Yankees lose. I always love hearing that. So the Rays are playing today. I think they're playing right now as we speak. So we wanted to go live a little bit, talk to you guys about what else. The draft coming up less than how many days now is it?
I think it's the 20th. I think we got. So we talking 8 days?
Yeah, 8 days. 8 days until the NFL draft, as I'm going to try to share this to the shows out there.
Yeah, do your thing. Man.
Well, yeah, I'm going to do my thing as always. You know that. But let me see here. Let me get the follow.
Yeah, so me and Peter are going to talk to you while he does his thing. We're going to talk to you, of course, about thoughts and stuff that we talk about the team, thus moves that's happened this far.
Go ahead. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Oh, man, you good. We're going to talk about moves that happened this far and then talk about what kind of angle the Bucs are going to take in the draft, what he thinks, what I think. And I'm going to take some calls. Peter, as always, going to take some calls and see what you guys think. And we're just going to have some fun with it for a little while. I'm going to try while Peter's doing that. I'm going to get the Rays game up here so I got that on so I can update you while we're talking about that.
Yeah, because you got to give me the update on that and what the Rays are doing at this point because they're at 7-7 right now.
Right.
A lot of Rays fans thinking, you know what, this the season was all for naught. And I always say it's early in the season. Who knows what's going to happen at this point? Everybody loses their minds. Oh, my God, the Rays get off to a slow start. Welcome to being a Tampa Bay sports fan. Welcome to being a Tampa Bay Rays fan. Welcome to being a Tampa Bay Bucs fan. Welcome to being a Tampa Bay Lightning fan as they had their own slow start. But, of course, we're going to talk about the majority here of the Bucs. We will take some phone calls as we'll get the number up here in just a little bit. As you know, we're just doing our thing here on Sunday, and we don't usually do this, but it's a pop-up show. We got to be more consistent, as I tell Blake. Him and I, our schedules don't necessarily always work out, but we try to make it work here on Blake and Blake Sports. And of course, if you don't notice, I'm not pixelated, so that's always a good thing. You know why? Because because I said screw Spectrum, love Spectrum Sports, love what they do over there. Nothing against that sports network, but Spectrum Cable, we updated it to Frontier, so we got 1 gig up and 1 gig down, baby. So that's why we're live and in living color.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's a great show. I love that show. I love
a lot of stars came from that show, man. A lot of stars.
James Carrey, aka Jim Carrey. Yes, Jim Carrey. I mean, come on.
J-Lo was the backup dancer. Of course, the
Waynes, SW1, Sean Waynes. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stars out there as I'm sharing it to various Bucs sites here. So hopefully you guys like and share and do whatever you do. Follow, stalk, troll, whatever you guys do here. Troll me a lot, especially this off season. I was talking to Blake off air about this. I don't know how many people are watching right now. So we'll get the phone lines up in just a moment. Again, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. You're going to have to do that because I don't have control of this at this point. I can see the comment.
Are you ready for the comments? I knew you.
I'm ready for the phone calls. call line. Yeah, what's going on? Misador right there, an old-time listener. If CJ Allen, Mesidor, or Jamon McCoy are available,
we'll get into all that in a minute.
Oh, man, I'm raring to go. And by the way, yes. Well, I was going to say, if you don't know, Bucs latest every day on the Fan Arch Network. You know, we expanded out here, Blake. We're doing 5 days a week of Bucs content, 10 to 15 minutes on YouTube. And we talk about these subjects. Bucs latest, like and subscribe there. We're nearly at 700 subscribers. I feel like I've been saying that for a long time. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers, but we only been out for a month, so we're killing it. It's the only Bucs platform that goes 5 days a week with Bucs content. It's 10 to 15 minutes. So the people who wanted more of me, you get that. If you want less of me, you get that also, because it's only 10 to 15 minutes at the most. 20 minutes. So there you go. All my promotions are out of the way. By the way,
got it. You got everything. We got the.
I'll be at the barbershop now. Up the block barbershop will be there next weekend. You're more than welcome to join me at the barbershop. Although I don't think you need a barber at this point. When's the last time you had a shave? Or you don't have any hair, do you, Blake Anthony?
I do it all myself, man. I can't.
You do it all yourself.
I do it all myself.
I can't imagine doing it myself, because if I did it myself, I'd probably shave my beard off and look all weird and give myself a crew cut.
If you practice a couple times, you'll get used to it.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, because if I practice a couple times and I mess up, it's permanent, my friend. I gotta, a lot of people say I have a face for radio at this point, so I gotta work with what I got at this point. I can't mess that up.
Understandable.
Yes. There you go. It's like old times again.
He's so silly. So I mean, I know we got NFL draft up. Everybody's waiting. Everybody's on here. We're waiting to talk about the draft. So hopefully we'll get callers when we talk about it. So
well, we don't need callers about the NFL draft. I mean, let's just get into it. I mean, for me, for the draft at this point, they're picking at 15.
Yep. What you think?
Well, I mean, I would say this. To me, it's edge rusher or inside linebacker, and it's Akeem Mesidor. I think Booger McFarland kind of sold me on this about a month and a half ago when I got an opportunity to sit down with him, and I said, listen, Booger, a lot of scouts, a lot of teams would stay away from Mesidor because he's 25 years old. And he said, why? And I said, well, you only get 5 or 6 years. And he said, what's wrong with that? And I said, well, this is what the scouts are saying. And he said, listen, if you get 5 or 6 years out of a kid like Mesidor, who is highly productive, 12.5 sacks last year from the Miami Hurricanes, completely dominant, more times than not, people go, well, look who was on the other side. Well, he had his fair share of tackles for lost sacks himself. He took over games. Right now, the Bucs are in a position where they're coming off an 8-9 season. It's do or die for Todd Bowles. It's do or die for Jason Light. You can't afford to get a project. I guess you could, because you do pick up El Quadin Muhammad there, who had 11 sacks for the Lions. But I just feel like you got to get a guy with production. I know he's got some injury concerns. For me, if he's the best player on the board, you take Mesidor from the Miami Hurricanes. Kind of repeat history, right? It kind of worked out for you a long time ago. With 1995, we're taking Warren Sapp. I take Mesidor at 15. If he's not there, Cassius Howe. McCoy, for me, is like, that's a big-time risk. He's coming off an ACL. If the medicals check out and he's the best corner on the board, then I guess you got to move with that. But again, you got Zion McCollum, you got Benjamin Morrison, who's also coming off his fair share of injuries, hamstring, hip coming out of Notre Dame, could have been a top 15 pick, much in the same vein as McCoy. And then, of course, Jacob Parrish, who could be the best corner on this team right now. I don't necessarily think it's the biggest need. I think, again, edge rusher and inside linebacker. Sonny Styles is not going to be there. CJ Allen, I think, is a little bit stiff, just watching and listening to people talk about him, stiff playing on film. He's not as athletic. I don't think he's great in pass coverage. That's what I kind of am concerned about at this point.
Who are you talking about?
CJ Allen.
Okay. Keep going.
I just think if you're going to trade up for somebody, it's Sonny Styles, and I don't see him getting past, number 10. If there's any way he gets to number 10 or number 11, then I think Jason Light has to make that call. But, this is not what Jason Light has done in the past. He's more so traded down. And listen, Blake, I think this is another scenario that would work out in the Bucs' favor, is if, let's say, Ty Simpson is on the board and the Jets want to trade up, or Pittsburgh Steelers want to trade up because they feel like the Jets are going to take him, then you would definitely have to entertain that. You trade down to number 21, you get some draft capital, you may get a first-round pick next year. I definitely think Light would entertain that with the history of him, the propensity, if you will, big word there, of trading down in the past for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers during the draft. So what do you think?
Don't rule out anything with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm very connected with a connection there that they might take Ty Simpson as well, because from what I'm hearing, they're not going to give the quarterback. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now. The quarterback,
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. They're not going to give Jalen Hurts another extension. That is what I'm hearing out of that camp.
Yeah,
I don't know how much water it holds, but by the way the play it's been a couple of years as it been, it's quite possible. Especially people want to get back their salary cap for paying all these quarterbacks all this money. But moving on to back, we're talking about the Bucs draft. So I've sat and thought about this for a long time about scenarios. It's hard when I think about what I personally want, and then you have to look at what's actually on the roster. And I have to it's hard to take your feelings out of it because you want certain players, you see what they can do, and you want to see that for your team. So I had to take my personal feelings out of it and just look at the roster in its entirety. Let me see if I can pull up the roster on the screen as it is.
See if you can get that number up. Can you get that number up for everybody? Because we want to open up the phone lines.
Yes, let me get that up for you. I have it.
Blake and Blake.
727-255-0391, right?
It is. I taught you well, my friend. I taught you well.
There it is. So let me see if I can get this roster up here.
Get it up there. Let's see what it is. And of course, I know for me, I'm loving hearing this too. I'm not only loving McDonald's, by the way, this having the little bit of trouble. I'm loving it. And then go ahead. This right here. Gotta love hearing that. Draft fans, yes.
So here's your roster: it's Baker Mayfield, Jake Browning, Connor Bazak. That's obviously a spot you can upgrade as a backup quarterback, but that's later on. You got your running backs here. Then
please don't say you're going to draft Ty Simpson at 15.
Oh God, no, I'm not.
I've heard Bucs fans say that, and I'll just go back to what Gerald McCoy said really quick. He said, "Listen, you don't have a guy. You have a guy here. You can't always depend on thinking you're going to get a guy in college football because it's one of the highest bust rates at the end of the day." Absolutely. And then Chris Sims, former Bucs quarterback, says you're going to have to look to pay Baker Mayfield. You're going to have to pay him eventually. He may reset the market. I know Bucs fans will cringe at it, but listen, 95 touchdowns and 37 interceptions, Blake Anthony, is nothing to sneeze at. When it comes to statistics that Baker Mayfield has been able to put up here in his 3-year career with the Bucs.
Absolutely. You can't sneeze at that. So wide receiver is something you can touch in on because besides if their names aren't Chris Johnson, Emeka Abuka, and Jalen McMillan, there's a question mark at your wide receiver position. If any of those guys get hurt, you have a huge question mark who steps in next. Then, of course, the tight end position, I've always thought is one of the weakest positions on this team, but this team does not use the tight end. So I didn't really get into that. Your offensive line is your offensive line. You know, it doesn't always hurt to get depth there later on in the draft.
No, listen, I don't want to interrupt you here, but go back to this. Tight end, Kenyon Sadiq at 15.
The Bucs don't use tight ends like that. I love it, but I'm thinking realistic. They would never use him.
Well, Zach Robinson uses 2 tight end system.
So I wouldn't be mad at it.
I would. I listen. I understand he uses the 2 tight end system. You can get a guy in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. I would definitely be disappointed. So
I was going to get into that.
Yeah, I think of more OJ Howard at this point when I think of Sadiq.
Oh God, don't bring that up.
Well, listen, I got to dig at the scab a little bit because I felt like in 17 they should have drafted Dalvin Cook, and they didn't. They drafted. We know why they didn't draft Cook. You told me off air about that, but he turned out to be
too close to home.
Pretty consistent player though when it comes to the running game. You kind of wonder what it would have been if he would have came here with this Bucs team, how he would have been able to solidify that running game at the time. But they drafted OJ Howard. A lot of people saying Sadiq help the offense out. You lose Mike Evans, Blake Anthony. You lose Mike Evans. You got to go. So
go get into that. Yeah, let me get into my draft stuff. Yeah, I can get into that.
I got you.
I want to paint the picture so you can see the roster.
All right,
why I make the decision I'm saying.
Pay me a Michelangelo.
Yep. So you got Elijah Roberts and Kalijah Cansey at the left end spot. Vita Vea, and I did like Elijah Simmons when he came in and played, but he's young and unproven. Ashawn Robinson steps in. Then you got Rakeem Nunez Roches. Then you have your other edge rusher is David Walker, Chris Braswell, and Anthony Nelson. Then you got Anzalone, nothing behind Anzalone. Then you got Roseboom, Dennis, and Nick Jackson. All unproven at this point until they get on the field. Then you got Yahya, Muhammad, and Whitley and Kamara, two guys nobody knows. Then your corners, Zion McCullum, nothing behind him. Then you got Tyke Smith, Killebrew, J.J. Roberts, safety, Antoine Winfield, Wisdom, and Banks, guys that nobody knows who they are. Then Morris and Hayes, people are familiar with Hayes. He's a rotational player when somebody gets injured. Then, of course, Parrish, and there's really nothing behind Parrish behind his injury. So I put that all out there to come back to bring it on full circle of why I made the decisions I made. That's the only reason why I brought this up is for that. So you get it. So I'm looking at the position. Let me get this right. Little window.
It looks good. It looks good again, though. I'm still kind of bothered. I mean, it looks good. You made me look good there with the pirate, but the beard, man, we gotta get up the beard.
Okay, I'll get you some gray in there. The next one,
some gray. Got some gray.
3.
All right, man. Sounds good. Episode 3 next week, by the way. Catch that. We'll definitely be on either Sunday or Saturday. I think Sunday, because Saturday will be at the barbershop. But you never know. Blake may show up in Holiday, Florida.
So,
by the way, yes.
My scenario is I'm not going Sadiq as much as I would love to because of the way he plays, and he has a dynamic to the offense that they don't have. I'm saying trade back. Trade back once, trade back twice. And the guys, and I'm saying to pick because I'm not taking chances. Like you said earlier, they don't really have a time to take chances on edge guys that don't exactly work out. We're looking for a double-digit sack guy. So if you continue to do the same thing and expect different results, I said that's called insanity. So if there's no pocket to throw in, it makes the life easier for edge rushers. And besides this one spot, it falls off hard. I have to say go Caleb Banks if you trade down to 2021. Big 6'2". That Bucs have to get bigger. And not only get bigger, Vita Vea is on the last year of his contract. And in this system, the nose tackle is the most important spot in the 3-4 system is that nose tackle. And there's no telling. He's turning 30, 31 around this time. No telling if the Bucs are going to resign or what his contract's going to look like. But if you add him in there, the way he showed out in Senior Bowl and he showed out in Florida in the SEC, you have those two guys right there that he could play at either spot, the left end, the nose, or the right end, adding Ashawn Robinson and adding Kalijah Cansey
and Nacho. Don't forget Nacho.
Now you have a rotation of players inside where Via can come on or they both come in, and you have a guy that's collapsing the pockets because the issue has always been they can't get to the quarterback for the edge. Fine. If we can't get through the edge, let's make sure there's no damn pocket to throw him where he has to move and the edge guys can get to him. So that's why I said it took me a long time to figure out what is actually going on. We need to close the pocket. If we can't get around the court edges, let's close the damn pocket. Let's be like the Chicago Bears, and the Jacksonville Jaguars with Marcus Stroud and John Henderson. Close the fucking pocket and have the quarterback nowhere to throw. I said, let the edge guys eat when the quarterback rolls out. If we can't get a guy that can get 10, 11 sacks, could just beating guys off the edge, then let's just not stop looking for it and get somebody who's going to act who's 6'6", 335 pounds, and is going to close the pocket. Let's do that while gaining draft capital. And with draft capital, you can pick up guys like if he falls to the second round, Zion Young. If you want to go back to edge, you can get a Nadeem Tucker, a guy that I love that led the NCAA in sacks, who had no sacks up until then. I love the way he rushes, especially in the Senior Bowl. You can get him later. There's a Vincent Jackson Jr. out of Duke, 6'6", 268. Caden Curry, who reminds me a lot of Justin Tuck. Tuck out of not Tuck. What's his name? Justin Tucker out of San Francisco. A lot of years ago. Gabe Jackson out of Illinois. And you can go guys like that later on if you decide to go like that. You have extra picks. You can get corner. You're going to have to get a corner at some point. You're going to have to get another safety. There's tons of that. And if you can even go wide out. And if we were talking about wide outs and the Bucs right now, the guys that they have a similar skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
Emeka Buka, Chris Godwin, and Jalen McMillan have all similar skill sets. With Tez Johnson being more of a gadget scat receiver kind of guy, you don't have that 6'5" threat anymore. You can go get in the second or third round. The kid out of Notre Dame.
Well, I'll give you another name, Devin Boston.
He might not be there. That's why I didn't bring that name up.
Washington.
But if that's a name. That's a name.
Big body, 6'3", 6'4".
6'4".
Yeah.
But yes, that's a name. But I don't expect him to be there because of what you just said. He's a stud. A guy that I think that absolutely needs to be on this roster if he's available at a pick that you don't have a need right now is Elijah Surratt from Indiana. That guy has speed and can play any inside or out on any offense. That's a guy I think if he's there, take him. I'm not saying reach, but you can take him. He's 6'2", but his intangibles are crazy. If you watch tape, just watch tape on him. If you don't know anything about him, watch tape on what he can do. And then you got Chris Braswell out of Tennessee, another 6'4" red zone threat. So if you don't get a tight end that can help you in the red zone, you're going to have to get somebody that's a red zone threat. The reason tight ends and like fast guys like Sadiq and all those guys is because they offer a threat. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love Cade Otton, but he don't exactly scare anybody when he runs out for routes. I say he's not burning anybody and creating separation. You have to scheme him open. The Bucs don't have that kind of guy tight end. So now you're relying on your backs and your wide receivers. It's a little easier to scheme on defense when you don't have to worry about your tight end threat. And like you said earlier, if they don't want to go Sadiq, you can go tight end at a later round. You can go the guy from Purdue. You can go the kid from Purdue, Stowell or whatever his name is, Stowell, in a later round if you get it. The Notre Dame kid I was talking about was Malik Fields.
Right. You got Max Clare from Ohio State. You got Delp from Georgia. Yeah. They've talked to a lot of tight ends, and I will just say this: a lot of Bucs fans have been screaming for Devin Culp. Why not Devin Culp at this point? Why don't they give him a chance? Because he's got the body, right? I mean, 6'6", 6'7",
big guy. Mm-hmm.
Seems like he can catch the balls. Got some speed. I think there's the reason why they have not kept him or not given him the opportunity, Blake Anthony, is because he's not great when it comes to blocking. But if Zach Robinson is using 2 tight end sets, does this kid finally get an opportunity? We saw Payne Durham. He showed some flashes of brilliance, but again, nothing consistent to where you would say this Bucs team doesn't need a tight end. Although, once again, you re-sign a Cade Otton and you're making $10 million a year. So this guy's got to do something. He's got to take off. And I talked to former tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl 37 winner Ken Dilger, and he felt like in order for this offense to take off, they're going to have to feed Otton at least 70 to 80 catches or targets, if you will. He's going to have to at least have 70, 80 catches for this offense to really take it to the next level. So that's how he feels. He feels like, Otton can catch the ball, has to work on his route running, has to do a better job when it comes to being an end line blocker. But he also said you really don't have to worry about being an end line blocker these days. You have to more so worry about, being a route runner, and Otton isn't there yet. Can he get there? That's my thing. You're paying him $10 million a year. So you better give you more than 59 catches. He's been consistent, 59 catches both years, only 1 touchdown last year. Of course, that was the last game of the year, but I think that's more so.
That was a more scheme thing.
Right, because he's being left in to block because you have all those injuries to the offensive line, which a lot of Bucs fans don't consider a big deal. But it is a big deal when you're reshuffling your offensive line, when you lose both of your guards. Tell you what, let's go out to the phone lines here on the Blake and Blake Sports Talk Show here. Let's go out to Nick Jackson from Arizona, I believe. Nick, welcome to Blake and Blake Sports.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm getting ready for the draft, man. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Just watching y'all doing y'all little live thing.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your draft thoughts here? What would 8 days away? Is it 8 days away? Where it's
either 20th or the 25th, one of the two. I can't.
I believe I thought it was 14 on Thursday, so it's 2 weeks. So you got let's count our math: 13 on Friday, 12 on Saturday. So it's 11 days. So 11 days.
It's not far.
Yes, 11 days away from the NFL draft. Who would you like to see them at 15? Is it edge rusher? Is it inside linebacker? Is it corner? Is it quarterback? Is it tight end? Who is it, Nick?
I was actually doing my research in my head, and I was just thinking like this one could go to that tight end from Oregon.
Sadiq.
Or yeah, Sadiq. Yeah. Either him or the guy from Miami University. The
Masador.
What'd you say?
Masador.
Yeah, Mesador. Yeah, Mesador and such that. I think it's going to be out of those two guys and such that. But I was leaning more towards on Mesador than anything.
Well, I mean, I think you definitely could see that because he's got the production. Even though he's 25 years old, he can come in right away. There's some concerns about his injury history, especially his feet. So a lot of Bucs fans saying stay away. Why would you draft somebody 25? Greg Allman of Fox Sports was looking at it, and Jason Light, predominantly drafts a lot of young kids, 21, 22 years old. The players that he drafted at 23, I believe, are Kyle Trask, Vita Vea, and I'm trying to think of the other guy that they drafted. 2 out of 3, they did very well. Luke Gedeke. Yeah, Luke Gedeke, 23 years old. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Of course, Trask looks like a bust right now, is a bust, has never gotten the opportunity. So it's highly irregular, if you will, to draft somebody at 25 years old. You have to go all the way back to 2003, the Dallas Cowboys drafting Terrence Newman, and then 2017 with Garrett Bowles, the offensive lineman, I believe, out of Utah, for the Denver Broncos. So again, 25 years old, you get 5 or 6 years. But as the great Booger McFarland of ESPN said, the defensive tackle, name drop here, he said, listen, you get 5 or 6 years out of him, he's ready to come in and produce right away. That's exactly what the Bucs need, and they do, because they're up against it. They need a rookie to come in right away, be productive. The last 10 years, there's only been 6 pass rushers as a rookie who've come out and had double-digit sacks, and hopefully Mesador can be one of them, because this sack situation has been just a sad situation, a sad sack situation. Say that 3 times for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the last couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, if they draft him, they take him because his injury history, then I'd stay away. But then again, it's like, you know what? Just go ahead and take the guy from Oregon, the tight end.
You're taking a tight end over an edge rusher or a defensive tackle or even a corner at this point? You're going offense again? I mean, Bucs fans will hate that. That they'll probably try to bring out the pitchforks and all they're going to try to light the city on fire at this point. They're going to riot if you draft offense again. You know how many Bucs fans didn't like the Emeka Egbuka pick, and it turned out to be great, but
had to with the injuries that worked out.
And then you could say it this year, and it's like that, and then look how that turned out, and everything like that. They would actually like him.
Well, they'd actually liked him, but also you could have drafted an edge rusher, and you have an opportunity to draft an edge rusher again. I would be very, very shocked. Very shocked. In fact, I would be a little bit upset if they drafted a tight end. I think you got more positions at the end of the day. I think you just re-sign Cade Otton. You can draft a guy in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. They've talked to these kids, these tight ends before. You got to go edge rusher. You got to go inside linebacker or corner. Just my opinion. Even defensive tackle, I think you definitely make a case for it. And I think the big time key. And Nick, appreciate the call as always. Keep on listening here to the Blake and Blake show. All right, my friend?
All right. Thank you, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I'm Peter Blake along with
Blake Anthony.
Yes, it's the Blake and Blake show here, live on Facebook, YouTube.
Everything.
Everywhere. Everything.
Everywhere.
Not on TikTok.
I'm not mad at him for that. It's such an inviting pick to pick Sadiq with the skill set. But if you look, that's why I pulled the roster up for you guys that were here early. Watch the replay. Looking at the roster where you need help is wide receiver depth behind the starters. Your tight end you may not like who's in there right now, but they're not hurting at that position.
Right.
But your defense needs help. Corner behind the starters needs help. Safety needs help. And definitely the edge, they're getting, I don't care. Honestly, that's why I said I go the defensive tackle route. because I've seen too many times you don't have to have a high pick guy to be productive at getting to the quarterback. You just have to have somebody either inside or out being able to close out from the quarterback.
Yeah. Welcome to the Blake and Blake Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? Turn down your radio or turn down your smartphone there so we can hear you. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Blake and Blake Show.
Make him call back, Pete.
Okay, yeah, give him a call back. Turn down your radio. You're not on radio. Turn down your smartphone at this point so we can hear you. Talk to us. Don't talk to yourself. Yeah, let's go ahead and read some of these comments here. Let's read the comments. I want to talk about this defensive tackle situation because this has been a point of emphasis.
Thinking about it now?
Well, absolutely. I don't think
they have to get bigger, man. You got to get bigger.
They have, buddy. They have because listen, you got Vita Vea. He's up there in age. He's going to be 32, 33 this year. Next year, there's going to be a situation where maybe the Bucs restructure, maybe possibly move on. I doubt it because Jason Light's come out this year, but that's been mentioned, especially if it doesn't work out in 2026. You got Ashawn Robinson under a 1-year contract. Todd Bowles has talked about getting bigger, getting sturdier, especially when it comes to the
run.
He
said that?
Yes, he did. He talked about Nacho by name, and then
we're on the same page.
Well, we're definitely on the same page. You got to get better.
On the same page. I didn't even hear that. I didn't hear him say that. We on the same page there.
Yes, he definitely did. Todd Bowles said they got to get better. They got to get bigger up front, sturdier up front. That's exactly why they picked up Ashawn Robinson and Nacho here the last couple of weeks here in free agency. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Blake and Blake Show.
Hey, Peter, it's Mike Sidor. How you doing?
What's up, Sidor? Welcome to the I was ready to say evolution, the Blake and Blake Show, my friend. What's going on?
I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
Shoot.
We can all debate on who's going to take in the first round and whatnot, whatever.
Right.
Trade back.
You see them double dipping on early. I honestly think you could see them go linebacker, edge, linebacker, corner.
Yeah.
But I think that within the first 2 days, we have to take two of one of those positions.
Well, I definitely listen. I think if you address the edge, which I would expect them to do with their 15th pick here, I think you got to go inside linebacker. You got to hope that Jacob Rodriguez is on the board from Texas Tech. If he's not,
a lot of missed tackles, man.
A lot of missed tackles.
Everybody thinks he is.
He's got that Levante David thing about him where he's all over the ball, causes forced fumbles, has interceptions, was a former quarterback, now a defensive leader. So you went from the offensive leader of that offense to now the defensive leader. I like that leadership quality. He played for a great program at Texas Tech. You can go with Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas. He's a player. Maybe you wait. You go for a Kyle Lewis from Pittsburgh, I believe. He's been compared. He's been compared to Derek Brooks. And Louis Riddick was the one who said that, not me. So Riddick compares him to Derek Brooks. Listen, comparisons are asinine at the end of the day.
Yeah,
but
really.
Turn on the film. You're comparing him to a Hall of Fame. Mel Kiper got it right with Levante David, comparing him to Derek Brooks. So you go from Levante David to somebody that's being compared to Derek Brooks again. Hopefully, turns out to be as good as Brooks or better than Brooks. Maybe a Levante David type of player. You need that. You need a heir apparent. So that could be possibly players. I think again, a lot of Bucs fans love Jacob Rodriguez, his mustache, and what he brings to the field. But Blake right, has lots of missed tackles.
His tackle rate really scares me.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the.
The other thing is, like, if you have the defensive lineman, it takes the pressure off of your linebackers. To me, I know everybody says linebackers are deep, but what linebacker besides Sonny Styles dominated? None of them. They were just decent linebackers, and the teams that were decent linebackers, they were filled with all their defensive linemen are in the damn draft right now. So what does that tell you? So you got to have guys up front to make those guys' jobs easier. That's what I'm saying. We got to get bigger up front. Like, I know the draft comes and you want the best shiny toy.
Thank you, Smishador. Appreciate the call.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You want the best shiny toy that comes out all the time. But, bro, at some point, we just got to fix what we got to fix. Fix that damn defensive line. Let's finally fix the shit. Fix it. It's been an issue for years, and we know it. We go and we're like, oh, well, we got a wide receiver, but we got these guys we like, but we still got problem getting to the quarterback. Let's fix the shit. Let's fix the shit this year. And he said double dipping. You have way more guys, edge rushers coming into this draft that you can get late than you can a lot of other positions. You can get a couple extra edge rushers coming later in the draft if you want to do that, especially if you move back and pick up more draft collateral. You can still get what everybody loves. I like him too. Jacob Rodriguez, I like him. He just scares me with the missed tackles, but I like the kid's swagger. And like I said, there's a lot of, and on the defense, they just have to get better on defense. Utah it's run its course with trying to get the best out of subpar players. It's time to fix it.
Well, the problem is, it's a great point of trying to fix it. And I think Jason Line has tried to fix it, whether it was, again, drafting Yaya Diaby, which, Booger talked to me about this and said he's more of a 2. He's not a fastball. He's more of a 2. He's going to get an extension. We heard from Jason Light they like to extend him. Hopefully he's able to progressively get better and build off of the last couple of years. They're having 7 sacks from last year. Hassan Reddick was a disaster. Didn't work out. 59.5 sacks. You think it's going to work out. It didn't. You go with, guys like JTS, Chris Braswell. They have been bust. You're drafting on potential. You need to draft guys that can come in right away and be productive. If that's a defensive tackle, going back to it, I don't have a problem with it. You know why? Because Vita Vea is getting up there in age, right? Kalijah Cansey hasn't been able to stay healthy. Cansey, to me, is the biggest key to this defensive line. If Cansey's healthy, then this line is different. You go with Ashawn Robinson. You get a Nacho to improve your running game, improve your pass rush. We know that it's predicated also, the edge. We always talk about the pass rush, but if you push the interior, then and you take up those double and triple teams, it will free up that edge on the outside. So I have no problem with going with the defensive tackle at that point, especially if it's a Banks from Florida. If he's the best player on the board, it definitely fills the need. It definitely helps your pass rush. You can go possibly in the second round. You go with a Malachi Lawrence from UCF. We have Zion Young. But here's the problem with Young. He's not productive. So you're getting. But again, I'll go back to this. You don't necessarily have to pigeonhole yourself for a guy to be productive because you got a veteran in front of him. So you're not going to depend on him. So you want to take a flyer on a Zion Young. You can get it. It just seems like the Bucs have done this before, where you go with players that have lots of potential, lots of a high ceiling, good RAS score, if you will, but they're not productive in college. When you turn on the film, they're not. You need production to come in right away. And in order to fix it, like you said, you got to get production. Let's go out to the comments. Let's read some of these comments. Let's show our people here some love.
There's 3 names at edge that I really like, and it's later. These will be later picks in the draft, and these names are Nadane Tucker out of Western Michigan.
Yes, 14.5 sacks. 1 year ago.
Vincent Anthony Jr. out of Duke, and Gabe Jacas out of Illinois. Those are 3 guys that I really like, that could come up later that you don't have to get right away. Like you can get corner, safety, Malik Fields if you wanted to, if you trade back and get collateral. Those are just names that are going to be there later. But let's get to the let's read these comments. Let's have some fun with the people that are tuning in. What's up, guys? Let's go Bucs. Let's go Bucs.
Fire the cannon.
Let's go Bucs.
Wait up, little boy. Wait up.
By the way, to let you know, because we're on a Todd Bowles watch, and every show here we either do on the Sports Web or the Blake and Blake show. It is April 12th. By the way, happy birthday to my mother out there. It is April 12th, 2026, and Todd Bowles is still your coach.
It's exciting.
It is exciting, Todd. Absolutely. Aloha to you. They're out in Oregon. By the way, Lamar is the one who got the Buccaneers sign up.
Oh, that's the one? Okay.
Guy right there. He sent me that. We have that on here to honor him. Honor a webhead, Misador. Draft is deep and edge and linebacker. I'm not taking any chances. Philip Collier says, let's go. We're going to be fine. We got Violent Smart. I don't know how many. No, we got some effing ballers. And now, not always about names, it's about production. We got some real ballers. He finally drafted inbound. Yeah, Alex Anzalone. You get, again, Ashawn Robinson. Loved hearing him talk. How he's going to kick everybody's ass. You got to love hearing that. How he was picked on by as a kid. 10-year veteran. A lot of Bucs fans look at this getting older, but I think you're getting veteran players that come in right away, especially Anzalone.
We're trying to get Ashawn with us too. I got connection to Ashawn.
Oh, you do? Well, there you go. Your connections are working out, Mr. Blake Anthony. Once again, I've taught you well. I need to mail you both a Bucs Life sticker for the background. Happy Sunday, my brothers. Let's hope we nail a first-round pick. I want you to do me a favor here. I'm going to get up. I'm going to show you guys something. No, not that. Hold on. Stand by.
Oh, no, please don't. This is not OnlyFans. Oh, okay. I see you. That's it right there?
That actually is a Bucs Life flag in the background. I have to have that on the wall because I hate the shadow and stuff. And also, I'm not supposed to put anything on the wall, but I did put it with thumbtacks. I'm whispering because I have roommates and they don't like things. They don't like to have the signs on the wall. So I put that flag on the wall just for you, Scott Bradford. Bucs Life Media right there. Got you covered. So yes, we got that. We got already a big time sticker right there. It's better than a sticker. It's the whole damn flag out there, and it matches everything. So it's cool. And by the way, you got the Allstott. That was just in the floor. Now that's in a case, signed. We gotta make Mike Allstott on the show sometime.
I see him all the time out in the nightlife. I just don't ever ask. I just don't ever.
You should say we do a Blake and Blake show, or I know this guy.
I run him so many times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Allstott up the gut. There you go.
The gut.
From the great Gene Deckerhoff, who, by the way, is retired.
Fire the cannon!
It's crazy to me. It's crazy. All right. I look at Baker this season. If he's able to protect the ball, lead the team, then extend him mid-season. If not, look to the draft in 2027. Yeah, I just...
Take care of his health.
Well, he's got to take care of his health. He's got to alleviate those hits. And it comes back to what? Baker Mayfield, 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in the first half of the year. And then 13 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. And Levante David said it this week, and we're going to focus on this on the sports web.
How many times you heard me say it before Levante said it? How many times you heard me say that?
How many injuries?
It's himself.
Yes. He's dealt with injuries. People just don't believe it. They're like, it's an excuse. I'm like, he dealt with multiple injuries. Shoulder, oblique, knee. And you have your defensive leader of the team who's retired, which kind of stinks because now the Bucs fans are going through a transition period where you don't have Mike Evans, you don't have Levante David, but David's saying himself, Baker Mayfield, his play suffered last year because he dealt with multiple injuries, and still Bucs fans go, no, I don't want a quarterback that had 95 touchdowns, 37 interceptions. I don't want that guy. I want a rookie quarterback. I want to suck for the next 3 to 5 years. Have a rookie quarterback. For every Drake May, there's a Zach Wilson, and there's a story. Well, no, I mean, it's a bust rate. I mean, you've got to put a team around him. And if the Bucs are willing, if Bucs fans want a full rebuild, that means you're tearing everything down. You're trading Chris Godwin, you're trading Vita Vea, you're trading everybody at this juncture, and you have nothing around that rookie quarterback. Yes.
Here you go. You get next time somebody gives you a hard time, point this out. I say, you want to know the reason why Sam Darnold, you can plug and play Sam Darnold into 2 different offenses in 2 different years? What is the same thing those 2 teams had in common?
A running game and a defense.
And a defense. So what does that tell you? You don't need a franchise quarterback to win. I'm not saying Baker's not. I'm just saying if you have the further your point that you said, the help, if you have the team right around him, it makes the job of the quarterback a lot easier. You can create turnovers. You can get stops. You can take pressure off the quarterback by running the ball. Something the Bucs haven't done in quite a while consistently is run the ball. You don't have a tight end threat that we went into earlier. So it's little things like that. Takes a lot of the pressure off the quarterback.
I agree. And look, if Sam Darnold can do it, why not Baker Mayfield in 2026? Why can't he do it? Cut down on the turnovers, give him a defense.
Damn defense.
That's it. Fix the defense.
Fix the defense.
Yes, I know. Continue to say it. Scott Bradford, thanks a lot for the call. Thanks a lot for the comment. I absolutely agree with you. I think he re-signed him. I think he's re-signed here in the next couple weeks or month.
I'm sure they're having the conversations.
OJ, 100% OJ Phil, agree with that. I never liked the pick of OJ Howard. I tried. I never liked it.
I tell everybody, I said, when you think about that draft, I said, and you saw those highlights in the draft, you always saw OJ Howard running wide open because of a blown coverage. You never saw him go up over nobody, making catches. You did not see any of those highlights on OJ Howard's highlights. Nowhere did you see that.
Agree. And he only had 1 year of production, which is a red flag for me. It's a red flag for a quarterback. When Mitchell Trubisky got drafted, 14 starts. I'm looking at a guy that has more than 14 starts. I'm looking for longevity. I'm looking for more production off of the tape, not just from the combine. And you see OJ Howard, athletically gifted, not enough production. I see Kenyon Sadiq, same way. 1 year of production with Oregon. It's not enough for me to draft a tight end. That's a big time investment. I think you can get a tight end in the later rounds. You have more needs. Like you said, fix the damn defense, fix the defense. Oscar says they need to put pen to paper with Baker now before it's too late. The report came out from the Athletic, Blake Anthony, that he could reset the market, that it could be $50 million. And the reason why they say that production at $30 million has been a steal, according to Booger McFarland. Go back to him. You look at it, Dak Prescott making 60. Baker could reset the market $15 million a year. Do you think they sign him to some type of contract? Would Baker's camp wait it out, take a chance, be productive, and then, go back to the negotiating table there with Jason Light and do it in 2027? Or do you think the Bucs and Jason Light, for their best interest, is to get a extension done here this offseason?
It really all depends on what happens after the draft and see what veterans get cut and things like that to see where your salary is. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they can do the kick the can if they want to. There's multiple ways that you can move that money around. But if you're sold on Baker Mayfield being the quarterback, then you need to make your moves necessary to do so. But doing that, it's going to cost you guys like Vita Vea. It's going to cost you other decisions when you make that. If that's they already, I'm sure they already kind of got figured out what they want to do, and hopefully with that decision you make the right draft choices necessary to help in the effects of making that move, paying Baker Mayfield $40 to $50 million. That's all I can say in this situation. That's what I can say. Is just set yourselves up for success if that's the decision you want to go with. Is my only thing I will say with that. Set yourself for success.
Well, and listen, I think it definitely comes down to what Baker can do this year. It's a big year for him. I think the Bucs anticipate that. He definitely had some saying on what the Bucs wanted to do when it came to a new offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson. They want to get back to Liam Cohen's offense. They want to become a top 5, top 10 offense with Baker Mayfield. And as I've always said, where this offense goes, Baker Mayfield goes, or where Baker Mayfield goes, this offense goes. So it comes down to that. You've got to alleviate the hits. You've got to be able to stay healthy. And then furthermore, there's going to be competition out there for his services. I know a lot of Bucs fans just think he's trash, but the LA Rams and Sean McVay are lurking. Matt Stafford can't play forever.
He's playing forever.
And you got the Minnesota Vikings who, listen, they got,
fired their GM over letting Sam Bradford go.
Well, not Sam Bradford, Sam Darnold.
Sam Brown, excuse me, Sam Darnold. Yeah,
it's hard to get those two. It's hard to get those two confused at first because Bradford was stealing money. Sam Darnold looked like a bust, like Bradford. But you let Sam Darnold walk out the door after you have 14 job. And you go with J.J. McCarthy, who is clearly a game manager and can't stay healthy. And you go with the midget like Kyler Murray, who's
I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea what they're doing.
Well, I don't know if they know what they're doing, but yeah, listen, if Baker Mayfield is out there, and I believe he's definitely a franchise quarterback.
Snatch that up in a heartbeat.
They would definitely.
Justin Jefferson, they'll snatch that up in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Absolutely, they would. So there's competition out there for Baker services. We know how quarterbacks or how teams get starved for quarterbacks. So I think for me, that's a major priority. Jason Light talked about it. There was a report out there. Jason Light talked about 2 players re-signing, a Baker Mayfield and a Yaya Diaby. You got to get those players re-signed, and I think it's going to happen sooner than later, and I don't hate it. I would rather have a quarterback.
I love Yaya. I think he's right there on the edge, becoming a very consistent pass rush. I think he's right there. He has. What
does he have around him in order to evolve, if you will, and I think that's what it comes down to too, right? He's a number 2, but really, what has he had around him, Blake Anthony, to say, you know what? I think we're getting the most out of him. He's had to do it himself, and we know what happens. You have no Kalijah Kancey. You're double and triple teaming on Vita Vea. You're double teaming on Yaya. He's not winning his matchups. Just think if you had an edge rusher like a Trey Hendrickson or a Max Crosby, which now you're not going to. Yeah. You're not gonna have that. But let's say you get somebody like a Muhammad that comes in and gives you those, 11 and a half sacks.
Just get pressures. I know everybody likes the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if I can disrupt his timing, that's a win for the defense. That's a win. I said I can get a corner, can make a step on a play. Like everybody gets so caught up in numbers. If I can disrupt the pass to make him pull the ball back down and then disrupt the whole play, that's a win. It doesn't necessarily show up on the stat column, but if you got guys that can do that, we just cannot have what they've been having, guys sitting back there for X amount of time, ripping you to shreds. I said, with on top of injury, you can't have that anymore. That has got to cease and desist this year.
Agree. All right, continue to read those comments. We got some good done here on the Blake and Blake Show. Get your jump ball receiver in the third or possibly the fourth. Certainly
Malik
possible.
Fields, there's tons of guys. You can go Malachi Fields. I told you the guy I absolutely love is Elijah Surratt. If you don't know, just watch it. When you see it, the speed and everything he does.
Oh, he's impressive.
Picks him up, he is going to be dangerous.
And I'll tell you, the other kid there, Pounds from Indiana, he may not necessarily have the prototypical size, 5'9", 182, but he plays like a 6'1", 6'2 cornerback. If you watch him, the kid Pounds.
Oh, you're talking about Pons.
Pons, not Pounds.
Yeah, he's 5'9". Size is his only issue. Size is the only issue.
Well, that's the reason why he may drop. But again, is that a player the Bucs would take a look at because they need somebody and they're going young here? They did sign a veteran. They signed a couple of veterans, like Keemon Hall.
Doesn't mean they make the roster, but yes.
Right. But, there could be special teams. And then also you have Chase Lucas, who they got from San Francisco, played in 200-plus special team snaps. People were, they're just backups. Listen, you had all the injuries to that room, plus your special teams was absolute hot garbage. You need to improve that area. So these signings, as much as they're under the radar, I think they're important from the standpoint of improving your special teams. What does it always come down to? Offense, defense, and of course, special teams. If it improves that area, what are we talking about? All right. So get your jump ball receiver, says me, Sador. Once again, thanks a lot for the call. Look at this one right here. The Greek. Oh boy, the neighborhood went to. No. We love you, Harry.
Yeah, the legend.
By the way, I believe there's a Greek night, and then the Rays are playing. I think they're playing the Twins, so we may have to go to that, my friend. We may all have to go to that. There's a Greek night. They're giving out Greek jerseys.
What?
Yes, Greek Heritage Night. So we would bring Harry the Greek there to drop. Yeah, well, they got a Greek jersey too. Greek jersey with the Rays on it. So I'm curious to see what that looks like.
They talking about corners. There's a couple guys I like at corner too. We didn't get into that. It's two guys there nobody's talking about, and I've watched a lot of tape on them. They played for, was it Oregon? Am I looking at the right? Where's my little notes here? Defensive backs, yes. No, not Oregon, Washington. Excuse me. Sicario Davis and Afarius Prystock. I like Prystock. You don't really see 6'3", 6'4 corners that can play nickel and play outside and be that tall. I don't really see too many of those. And Sicario Davis is another. The Washington had 2 6'3 corners, and the Bucs have a propensity, a Leo word, to draft guys from Washington for some reason. From Washington. Those guys, I'm telling you, watch Prystock. He plays. I've never seen a 6'3 guy play inside besides Richard Sherman and go outside. That's very rare. I've seen it. So keep an eye. Look at it. Don't believe me. Just look at the tape yourself. I got a lot of names on here. Devin Moore from UF. I like big corner. I'm looking at Todd Bowles type guys. Big corners that can play physical and not the ball don't go over their head. There's a couple guys like that, but. We'll go back to the corners. The fans. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, no, definitely. K. Dotton is average at best. I don't think he will play to his current contract. We'll see. Again, he's shown flashes of brilliance. I don't know how many times last year we saw him trying to stretch for a first down, and there was always some controversy of being short or fumbling the ball, just being in those critical moments. And we saw K. Dotton when he's able to catch the ball consistently, but not enough. And I say you had an opportunity to upgrade that. Maybe David Njoku, who's still out there.
Still is. No, picked him up yet.
There you go.
I just ask you this: when you sign a guy like that, when the game's on the line, are you going to go to Cade Otton? Yeah, that's the answer. And then the reasons, though, you talking about it was a controversial thing. When you're a guy that gets that kind of contract, you got to know where the sticks are. You can't be catching passes shorter than the first down marker. John Madden would go irate watching that. He did that several times on those controversial plays. If you go back and watch them, can't be catching passes shorter than the first down marker. Got to be beyond. That's what a veteran does. But he's here now. He's got the extension. It is what it is at this point. That's my feelings on it.
I think he's familiar with the system. I think it's more familiar. I think it's also Jason like not wanting to give up on a 4th round pick who's got potential. Again, he's got lots of potential, but can he fulfill that? And it goes back to Dilger's comments. Maybe this offense takes that next step. If you're feeding him the ball 70 to 80 catches, we know, listen, you're going to have to – this offense is going to look different with Mike Evans. And, it's going to look different. It's been different without Mike Evans, but now it's going to be completely different. Mecca Ibuka, maybe your number one, maybe Chris Godwin. You got Jalen McMillan. You got Tez Johnson. They got David Sills this week from the Atlanta Falcons. You saved him. I think he definitely will address that. We have to land someone on defensive 15. This draft has got to be a draft that helps fix our defense. I agree with you on that. You got to fix the defense. Scott Bradford, good comment there. Let's continue to read here as I'm going to read with you as I can't click on them. I see Misador said Banks is solid and possibly could plug and play. Ian, you tried
about Tennessee.
Okay.
I like him. But like I said,
Broadway, Broadway. Hello, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, go ahead.
But I go back to this. We can draft all the you had Darrelle Revis on this roster, and what the hell did it do? Nothing.
Well, because you don't play him right.
That's one part. Why you couldn't get to the quarterback? So I go back. Here's one I always will say to everybody. Do you remember when the Giants beat the Patriots? Right.
Yes.
Who were the starting corners? My point exactly.
Well, Corey Webster was one, but your starting in line at that point was Justin Tuck.
Michael saying, who was the corners? Nobody cares.
OCU Minora.
Yeah, nobody cares. That's
right.
the point.
They had rotation. Cares. I believe, yes, they got a lot of rotation at that point. A lot of, with the defensively. Show looks great today. Thank you. The internet worked out. Thank you to Frontier. Shared on Rolling in the Red Zone. Thank you. I like Baker. I love how the Bucs are looking for the upcoming season. They are. Would you say this team is going through a rebuild, Blake Anthony?
No, it's just you're going through. The Bucs are going through their time. The errors are changing. Levante, Mike, all those guys. It's the Bucs' turn to go through it, and now you got to find your new stars, your new leaders. It's their turn. It sucks. It's their turn. So now you got it. Light and Bowles and everybody in the organization are tasked with a tough task to find your new leaders or your franchise to move to ascend them in this new era. Those guys, Mike and Levante, got their rings from those terrible years, many terrible years, and that was kind of their send-off. Now it's these guys' turn to turn a new page. The Baker Mayfields, the Mecca Ibukas, Chris Godwin's part of the old regime, but the Jalen McMillans, the Bucky Irvins, it's their turn to turn the page on this team, and you got to find your new stars. Anton Winfield is he was a rookie when they won the championship, so maybe he's your new face of the defense. So it's their turn to turn the page in Tampa.
Yeah, Vita Vea. I know Levante David. Really quick, were you surprised that he retired? Because I know you're connected with his camp.
Ron. The second it happened, I talked to Ron, and he said his first thing says, I thought we were going to get one more year out of him. But he also loves that he's made the decision based on how he said if his body feels. I told you, Peter, his answer will always be the same. If his body feels great, he can do it, he will play. He wants to spend time with his daughter, spend time at home. And I like how he's been on all these interviews and things that people have missed out on him for years. And he's kind of painting the picture of what the team looks like behind the scenes. And he's trying to eliminate the bad picture of naysayers and Buck haters and bad media has been putting out, and he's telling you from the guy who's been a leader of the team what's really happened in that tough stretch, like the fourth and 25 situation. It wasn't a scheme call; it was one player that made a mistake on the defense. So he's trying to patch holes and try to keep the camaraderie of this team and stop letting outside entities try to affect this team. So I love that part, what he's doing.
So you don't assume because he said in his comments he didn't have the motivation that this team is on the downward spiral, as a lot of Bucs fans, Bucs media would put out there, that's the reason why he didn't come out, because he doesn't want to go through a rebuild. You think it's more so he wants to spend time with his daughter, his body, he has to get ready for it. I think he could still play. I think
the knee injury bothered him. He had a knee injury.
Yes. I mean, he wasn't the same player. No player is going to be the same, especially with the knee injury, but father time is undefeated. I think it's more about him wanting to be a father, which I think the priorities are there with that man. He said it best, and I've talked to him before.
He lost both his parents. It's important to him.
It's important for him to be a father. There's nothing wrong with that. I think people look too much into those comments and say, well, Mike Evans left, so that should tell you everything you need to know about this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team and where they're going. I'm not ready to buy that. I'm not ready to buy that at this point. I think the Bucs could actually be better without Mike Evans, because he'll give more opportunity to those young players in that room, like an Emeka Egbuka, a Jalen McMillan, even a Chris Thompson. Yeah, Tez Johnson, or have more opportunities. Plus, you have an offensive coordinator who knows what the hell he's able to do, which we know Josh Grizzard didn't know what he was doing, especially practicing plays in practice and not using them in game time situation. Let's continue to read some of these comments. Love you guys as always. Re-signing Baker Mayfield is the way to go. Stop it every morning. He's in recovery mode right now. Every team is going to need to get their weight up. I agree with that. Denzel Boston, Abraham, thank you very much for the comment.
He's not going to be there. He might barely top in the second round if they don't pick him in the first round. Is he
related to David, by the way?
Yes, he's related to David. Yes.
David was a hell of a receiver before he got into steroids.
Yes,
I remember he played for the Bucs too for a short cup of coffee with David was good. Darnell says, go Bucs, go Bucs. Yes. We need to oust Bulls. That's not going to happen.
This man some damn help.
Yeah. That's again, a lot of Bucs fans want him gone. I hate to tell you again, April 12th, 2026, my mother's birthday. Happy birthday to you, Mom. Todd Bowles is still your coach.
It's exciting.
It is exciting, Todd. Absolutely exciting at this point.
I tell everybody like this when they talk about the defense and all that. I'm like, what guy are you relying on to make a play on that defense?
Yes,
that's not named Antoine Winfield, Levante David, or Villa.
Yeah, Christopher Cole says afternoon to you, man. Thanks a lot, as always, for the participation. Get rid of Bowles. He's not head coach material. Can you tackle this? Because I've tried to tackle it plenty of times. What do you think?
I'll just say this. You thought your boy in Detroit was the guy in Detroit. Now he's looking like he's on the hot seat. So that how the pendulum swings quickly, in coaching in the NFL. It's either what have you done for me lately? You know what I'm saying? But I think the Lions were in a better situation when Campbell took over than when the Bucs did. The Bucs were supposed to be terrible years. We were supposed to win 4 or 5 games post Brady with the salary cap and things like that. I know people don't want to hear it, but that's the truth. And he found a way to salvage this team and win division championships with guys that were outcasts. Baker Mayfield on the way out the league until he came to Tampa Bay. Just finding ways. But I said it before, and I'm the fair man. I said with all the injuries, I said if he don't do anything this year, I can't argue with anybody. But I really think they need to up the defense this year. You got to help him out because he's done a lot with nothing for quite some time, and it's time to actually give some picks to the defense instead of the offense having all the top tier picks.
Yeah, well, and again, I think it comes down to Jason Line. He's got to do more to give you those pieces, and he's tried to do it, but it hasn't worked out. So you can only work with what you got. I get it. Todd Bowles has his faults, but again, the team has played for him. I know Bucs fans got a bad taste in their mouth. A lot of Detroit Lions fans got bad taste in their mouth with Dan Campbell. In fact,
quickly that changed.
if he doesn't go for fourth down a couple times, you're in the Super Bowl and possibly win the Super Bowl. So that's a coaching malpractice. People will point to Todd Bowles in 2021 being a defensive coordinator, blitzing, zero blitz on Matt Stafford, not getting there, letting Cooper Kupp. They hold that against him still. They hold against him, saying he had a Super Bowl team, was given a Super Bowl team, and should have did more with it. And I say that team got older, and they also went through a transition, so it's not fair.
What are you talking about, the Rams loss?
The Rams loss, and then
I don't know why you're blaming him for the Rams loss. Stafford said it himself. The play wasn't meant to go to Cooper Kupp. The fact that the players didn't line up on time and they snapped the ball, and you allowed the wide receiver to run wide open down the seam of the play, he threw it up to him. I wasn't on Bowles that you guys didn't line up appropriately with veterans everywhere on the roster. That's on y'all.
Ndamukong Suh is a second away from crushing Stafford, just a second away from doing it. Yes, yep. And they say, well, they hold it against them because, and then, I talked to Dwight Smith, who was a former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, of course, Super Bowl 37 hero there with 2 return touchdowns, possibly could have been the MVP if it's not Dexter Jackson. And he says the fans hold it against him because he was given the job. He didn't earn the job. And I just look at all these things. I think this is the reason why there's such hatred for Bowles. I think it's his soft, his demeanor, if you will. Even when he went off last year, even when he went off with the F you and F that, and Bucs fans still didn't appreciate that.
And that's the thing. I've had to take a step back and get angry about things like that, because people that ever played this game and been on practice fields and stuff like that, the stuff that you're watching for the 4 quarters on television is a microcosm of what happens all year. That's just the output from all the work you put 6 days prior. So you missed the cursing out. You missed people getting kicked out of practice. You missed all that stuff because, one, your media don't cover it because it doesn't sell. Because I'm sorry, the media, certain media people, they work for who they work for. They have to sell you what they want to sell you for you to read, clicks and likes and what. So they have to sell you things that you get angry or happy about. That's what they sell. So they'll sell you things that they won't sell you that Todd Bowles is a stickler in practice and is chewing their asses out when you guys are constantly get mad at him for not having no expressions on the sideline. But any player on that team will tell you he'll curse my ass out when I don't do what I'm supposed to do in practice. And several players have said that, but it falls by the wayside because it's not talked about constantly. And only thing you see is that 3-second clip on the Sunday's game where they zoom in on him. You're like, oh, he doesn't have an expression. I'm like, so the 3-second is what you're basing his whole coaching thing off of? The 3-second clip that you showed him standing on the sideline? It's, like I said, I have to take a step back and don't get angry about it because there's some people just don't have the mental capacity to understand the difference.
And 3rd and 28, 4th and 14, it's on Todd Bowles, but I think it's on the players.
You heard Gerald and Levante talk about that.
Yes.
They said that was on one guy who it was his first game starting. The play wasn't wrong. It was the player.
Was it Vildor, who's not on this team anymore?
Whoever that corner was on the far side, that's who it was. All you had to do was run to the sticks. I said you force the ball to go to the tight end underneath, and then he has to run 15 yards to get the first down. That's what you want. Instead, he stays in the middle between both guys, and they throw the ball right over his head for the first down. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yes. Well, it's David Sills, the wide receiver who now is on the Bucs roster.
What do you think's more important? I said, the tight end catching the 5-yard pass or the guy sealing the deal in the game behind the sticks?
You dropped an F-bomb, so you got to go.
I'm sorry.
F you, and F you.
You dropped an F-bomb. But everybody kept saying that, like, but everybody was like, they're really sticking on that, like that was Todd Bowles. Like, bro, that's your boy out there that was playing corner that got lost in the light. I don't know what happened. It's an easy coverage. You run back and cover the deepest man, force the ball underneath. I don't know what happened.
Well, all right. We got more comments. I like the linebackers we picked up by Raymond. That's okay. And we'll wrap this up in just a little bit. We'll give final thoughts.
Where are we at?
Raymond, right? No, up there. Or the first comment from him says, I like the linebackers we picked up right there.
Roseboom and Azzaloni.
Yeah, Anzalone definitely has always given the Bucs fits. He played with the Lions. I know he's 31, is going to be 32 years old. He actually talked about it this week. I'll go to those comments. He was on the Jordan Schultz report, and this is important. He says, I had some really strong offers from some teams, and if you ask me, my agent financially, it would have been better off to go to those places. There were some constraints with what Tampa could offer me. Tampa is home for me and my wife. We get to live in our house, get to live in full time the rest of our lives. It means something to play in Tampa. And oh, by the way, for all the fans that hate Todd Bowles and think that the players feel the same way, well, not so fast, my friend, as the great Lee Corso
Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
The football aspect of being in Coach Bowles' defense, that really excites me, and I know that's a perfect fit for me. And then you're going through the family aspect and all those different dynamics. It's like, what do you weigh going into year 10? I don't have to think about the finances because he put his money aside, could have got more from other teams, but decided to come to Tampa because it's a destination, it's home. And oh, by the way, Bucs fans, he wants to play for Todd Bowles. Imagine that there are players around the league that respect Todd Bowles, and he's a hell of a good player. He's definitely going to be improvement over Levante David because he's younger. I think he's better in coverage. I think, again, Levante David, there were some points that he wasn't great in coverage, whether it was injury or age. So you improve in that way. It doesn't necessarily mean you can't improve in the draft, but he can be a defensive leader. You know, he's got the long hair, and he got Roseboom, who's got the long hair, had over 100 tackles. Maybe he's a backup. Maybe he's a starter. Maybe special teams, you could still improve in that situation. I think you've gotten better. Of course, Sabasi Dennis, terrible in coverage. Roseboom, terrible in coverage. So you got to get some coverage linebackers, but Anzalone better in coverage than Levante David. That's what you hear. That's what you see. So we'll see how it works out. But did this defense get a little bit older? Yes. Did they have more veterans? Yes. And I think it comes down to that situation, right? 3rd and 28, 4th and 14, being in the right place at the right time. If you have veteran players, you would think that are used to those situations, you feel more confident putting those veterans in those situations than you do with, rookies or younger players or backups. So I think that's what it comes down to. And then getting an edge. Jason Light even talked about it, getting players with an edge. That's what the Bucs were looking for in this offseason, and that's what they got.
Arians used to like to pick up team captains, but that doesn't always work out that way.
Right.
He wants to get like alpha male type of guys. I think the Bucs, like I told you earlier when you said about Bowles' quotes, that's why I said me and him are kind of on the same page thinking they got to get bigger. They've got to get meaner. They've got to get nastier up front. And that's on the offensive line and the defensive line. They got to get meaner up front. And that's why I like the Caleb Banks pick. I like trading back. Let these guys go up and pick these tight ends and these skill position guys. If you can trade back twice, and I think they should load up if they got the ability. Load up there. I like what I've got on this sheet. I like a lot of the later picks because if everybody's at 15 and you're like, well, I like this guy at 15, but I don't know if he's going to produce. That tells you right there that you shouldn't be picking that guy at 15. Just move back, collect picks, and load the hell up. It's time to rebuild this team. You've got, well, I'm not gonna say rebuild, like reload this team. You still got plenty of talent on here. You still got plenty of middle-aged players, not too many older guys. You're right where you should be. You don't have to overpay your quarterback yet. We'll see how that works out this year and the next year. But you're in pretty good position to win your division. You're pretty good position. There's a lot to be excited, minus you losing 2 cornerstones to your franchise. Just look at it as an opportunity to find your new stars. It's time you find your new leaders. I love Levante David. I love Mike. I love Gerald McCoy. But it's time has passed, and it's just got to find the next man.
Well, and Keldrick Falk, here's a player, 6'6", 280.
Raw, very raw.
Very raw out of Auburn. Again, doesn't have the production, but he's been associated with the Bucs at 15. Are you okay with taking him? Because for me, I'm not. I know the potential is there. I know the ceiling is there. The production isn't. I can't afford a bust. I know he's young. I mean, he kind of reminds me of Logan Hall all over again. Like, yep. I don't. You
know that story already.
I do, and I don't want to go down that road again.
That's what I said. The safest pick is Caleb Banks. Safest pick. Trade back and pick.
Cassius Howe out of Texas A&M, high level
production. Him. Later.
No, Cassius. Oh,
I've seen Cassius tape.
Yeah, he got the production. He looks a little bit like Von Miller, does he not? A little bit.
Just to say he's that guy. I don't know, but I like his tape. Like
tape, I said, production, played at the highest competition. If he's there, you take him. I go with Mesidor too. I think those are two guys that you go with. Maybe listen. I don't know if a Ruben Bain Jr. because a lot of people are getting wrapped up in the short arm. The short arm. What do you think about this? Because it was small hands with quarterbacks, and now it's short arms. Is this a thing now? Has this become a thing? I don't know why it's a thing. Ruben Bain Jr. You watch the tape; he's dominant. Why are so many teams?
That's what matters because all the offense. It's not like you're playing against different guys in the game who has short arms like him. Offensive lineman. So you got an offensive lineman with different lengths of arms. I think it's just a technique to make him fall further to a team that actually wants him. It happens every draft. Guys do that, Peter. So don't fall into that. I coached off defensive line at high school. I have plenty of kids with short and long arms, and there's plenty of techniques to get around stuff like that. So it's don't buy into the hype.
Sonny Styles, you buy the hype with him?
I love the kid. I love the kid. He's the only linebacker worth drafting at 15. I know everybody wants CJ Allen. What game did he change? Everybody wants Rodriguez. I know everybody. Well,
15.
Nobody's. That's what I said. Let me take it back. Nobody's taking him 15. I like him at the spot that everybody says to take him. I like that.
Sure.
But there's nobody other than him that I would consider at inside linebacker other than Sonny Styles. Hell, his brother's in the draft too. He's a corner.
Lorenzo Styles Jr. His father played in the league. You go back to Sonny Styles. I think it would be a perfect Todd Bowles pick because he is a former safety transition. So he's instinctive. You look at the tape, highly productive player, can make tackles, calls turnovers, game changer. And then Todd Bowles and the way he used Devin White with blitzing, with that speed and the athleticism, you could do the same thing with Styles.
Yep, like I said, even when we talk about safeties too, there's Shalone Kilgore out of South Carolina, very instinctive player. He reads route patterns. I like the way he anticipates route combinations and makes plays on ball. Not a lot of guys. I like a undrafted player, Marcus Allen out of UNC. Very untalked about player, was very good at corner for the University of North Carolina. Big, tall corner. I think he'll go undrafted. A guard, nobody's talking about. Never gave up a sack all year. Was Micah Morris at the University of Georgia. Never gave up a sack in his career. Predicted to go undrafted. Jennings Dunker, a backup tackle. I guess there's tons of studs that's later in this draft. That's why I think moving down from 15 is the best option to get these guys that you'll probably need at some point in the season due to injury, suspensions, or whatever the case may be. You got to plan for everything. Oh, and there's a quarterback I like. I know you're talking about it, but I always think outside the box. The kid out of Arkansas, I didn't put his name on here. Big, tall kid, 6'6", very versatile, very fast. I'm not looking at him to replace Baker. I'm looking at him to excel scoring in the red zone. You got a dual threat quarterback who's has size, speed. I'm looking at stuff like that. They need to find other ways to score in the red zone if you're not going to get a jump ball threat. Bucky Irvin isn't exactly heavy. He's pretty light in the ass. He's not running nobody over to get in the end zone. You know what I'm saying? And K-Dot, and we talked about it. He's not beating anybody fleet of foot. So you got to look at options like that. That's what I got.
All right, yeah, and I would say Drew Allaire, who the Bucs have definitely looked at from Penn State. They've done some visits with him, so we'll see how that. I don't know if they're considering quarterback. I think they're really happy with that quarterback room there, especially with getting Browning from Cincinnati. I know he had a down year, 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, but he's been able to start games, and I think we would have to agree he's a lot better upgrade over Teddy Bridgewater, who's, to be fair, Bridgewater's coming out of coaching, high school football to be your backup quarterback. And then you put him in that Rams situation and it looked really, really bad. Was it because of the offensive line? Yeah. Was it because of Bridgewater not looking good? Yeah. So if you knock on wood, hopefully you don't have an injury to Baker Mayfield, but I think you feel better about this backup quarterback situation with Browning over of Bridgewater. Just my opinion. All right, what's the Rays score? Last check, I had 3-0 Rays over the Yankees.
Yep, still the same.
All right, let's read the rest of these comments, and then I think we'll end this off, my friend. This has been a hell of a show. What is Peter Blake talking about? What do you mean? What am I talking about? What are we? They need to sign Baker to a new 4-year extension and then focus on defense.
It's either this year or the end of it. One of the two is going to
happen. Let's see. I see Arians was the guy. Happy birthday, Mom. Thank you, Darnell, for both comments. Arians was the guy. Thoughts on the guard out of Penn State?
Later rounds, I ain't mad at it.
All right. Darnell says, not saying he's not an asset. He's a great DC.
Oh, you're talking about Bowles.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what he's doing. He's the head coach. Like, here's another thing. Like, everybody keeps saying this, and this is a fact. You might not like what I'm going to say, but it's the truth of it. What the fuck does John Harbaugh do?
Dropped another F-bomb. Come on, man.
I'm sorry. What does he do? He does not coach your offense. He doesn't call plays. I said he's just the head coach.
Well, the reason why he got ousted from Baltimore is because of his game planning. Because he wasn't able to do anything in the playoffs. And he got first-round exits. He hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2012. So people are like, bring in John Harbaugh. He's a great coach. The reason why he lost his job with the Baltimore Ravens is because some of the things that you're talking about, Todd Bowles, it's just a name. You just think that's a name. And like Mike Tomlin. I love Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin may be the next Bucs head coach if it doesn't work out this year. You know why? Because the biggest kept secret, or the least kept secret, if you will, is the Glazers feel like that was the worst mistake they ever made by letting Tomlin
let him leave.
Right. But why did Mike Tomlin get fired? He didn't walk away. He got fired because he couldn't get past the first round because he
walked away. He didn't get fired.
Well, and I think
he walked away. He didn't get fired.
Yeah, but that's what they say. But I think he was more forced out. But what was the reasoning for it? I love Mike Tomlin again, but I think it's him, right, because he couldn't get past the first round. Bucs fans are like, well, Mike Tomlin. It's the same thing with Todd Bowles. Like you got to be able to find a quarterback.
The period is no coach is perfect. Like you're saying one thing about Todd Bowles, I could say the same exact thing about several dudes you do like.
You could say the same about Liam Cohen, who gets the Jaguars to 13 wins.
He's gonna have a much tougher schedule this. He's gonna have a much tougher schedule this year too, with a more winning record. So we'll see how good he really is coming up to this year. And
he might be just a good offensive coordinator, not a great head coach, but he did well with the Jacksonville Jaguars. People, we could have had Liam Cohen. Well, you could have had Liam Cohen. Of course you had, but there's always a risk of if you go with Cohen as your new head coach, it could be a Dirk Cutter situation. You were like, well, Dirk Cutter had a great offense, and you keep the continuity there with Jameis Winston.
Terrible head coach.
Terrible. It was not right. It was not good. You got
players showing up to practice drunk and and getting arrested. Like, did you hear? Do you hear any of that with Todd Bowles?
I do not.
Never heard not one person in the media with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers under Todd Bowles' regime. That is the head coach. I know that the stuff that you take for granted, you overlook, like team structure, team not chewing each other out, the negativity around the team. That's all the head coach, whether you like it or not. It never happens with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, their play on the field, absolutely it can be better. But you choose to neglect all the things that is the head coach's job. Team functional game planning. Now, the players don't perform with the game plan. That's not the head coach. That is the player. And that's why I love that Levante David is on these podcasts answering these questions, because there's people in the media that want to push this negative stuff on you guys because you guys eat it up, and you give them clicks and likes. But he's here telling you what's exactly happening and why they had the downfall and stuff like that. But you never saw none of that dysfunctional. Like here's one. The stuff that happens with the Eagles, guys bickering and stuff on the sideline and all that stuff. You never saw any of that in Tampa.
Well, fire Sirianni. But by the way, you fire Sirianni after they lose in the first round to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and how does that work out? Well, they keep him on board. Even though they lose to the Bucs that season, they still end up winning a Super Bowl. Why? Because it's not always on coaching. It's on all the aspects of the team that we talk about. It's not just on coaching. Is coaching a big part of it? Of course it is. I'm a Todd Bowles guy. I think it can work out this year. I think they could turn it around. If they don't, then again, decisions will be made. He most likely will be out, and then they'll change course, and it may be a rebuild like a lot of Bucs fans. And I ask Bucs fans, if you draft a rookie quarterback, if it doesn't work out again, theoretically, if it doesn't work out, you draft a rookie quarterback, how patient are you willing to be? Bucs fans told me 3 to 5 years or for eternity because you get rid of Todd Bowles. And I'm like, you're not patient enough now with Todd Bowles getting this team consistent winning the NFC South. I get it. They won last year, but the 3 years
Peter,
prior. Yes.
What I tell you off air with that, it's not about the wins and losses that they're upset about.
Yeah, we're not going to go there.
It's not about football. I'm not going to go there, but like you said, that's your answer. It's not about football. If winning consistently or having competitive team compared to what you've had in the past and you're up, there's people pissed off that you're 6-2.
Yes.
So it's clearly not about football. It can't be about football and winning.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying.
To be fair, Todd Bowles said that team didn't play as well as they could have, but they did the right things in the fourth quarter. But they're still 6-2 with all the injuries, and you still have Bucs fans like, well, they barely beat the Arizona Cardinals. So it's not good enough. And I'm thinking, dude, I want you to go back into the 80s, the mid 80s, and the 90s before
2007.
And no, 2009 to 19, the decade of dormant, the decade of the doldrums when it came to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, barely having a winning season, let alone a division title. People, well, they just won the NFC South. It's not really a big
the goalpost keeps moving.
I mean,
now the division's being terrible is a thing. I never heard that with nobody else. Now it's a thing.
Right. Like the AFC East didn't show up and they didn't have a terrible division all those years with Tom Brady. Oh, no, it's just Tom Brady and the Patriots were just a better team than everybody else. Okay. So it's time to give, Todd Bowles a little bit of credit there. Again, is he on the hot seat? Yes, because
he got to win this year. I'm fair. He got to win.
Got to win. That's it. And you do these 1-year contracts for that simple purpose. Tomian,
there's a new one.
He says Mike Evans left the team because the fans didn't show up because our fans. I don't buy.
You want to talk about that?
Listen, it's always like this. I'm from here. It's a transient state. It's with the Rays. It's with the Lightning. You got to prove yourself. There's always going to be jack-offs from New York and Philly. Nothing against them. Yeah, I did. I said jack-offs. I mean, you said F you, so I said jack-offs. There's always going to be there. You're going to have to deal with it, and that falls on Bucs fans. Was that the reason why he left?
No.
It's not the reason why he left. He is trying to endear himself to 49er fans. Say whatever you want to. Listen, this Bucs team has been consistent the last 5 to 7 years, whether you like it or not, winning a Super Bowl, winning division titles, having winning seasons. Their fans show up. They show up when it matters. Is there a Philadelphia Eagle takeover? Yes. Is there opposing fans? Yes. But that's what you deal with being a Tampa Bay sports fan. Get used to it. It's what happens. Mike Evans left the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because he thought that first, maybe he wanted to go to San Francisco with his family. Maybe he wanted to see Jerry Rice because that's his idol. Maybe he thought the San Francisco 49ers are in a better position than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It doesn't necessarily mean he's right. He just felt like that. And then on top of it, Jerry Rice leads the 49ers. Nobody thinks it. Tom Brady leads the Patriots with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There have been plenty of players that have left their teams that you think shouldn't be there. That's why it's such an anomaly and such a great thing when a player like Levante David spends his whole career with the Bucs. A Derek Brooks, a Rondé Barber spends their entire career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But in reality, this is the business of the National Football League, which means not for long. So it happens. Everybody just needs to get over it. Stop blaming fans. Stop blaming each other. If you want to do better, show up to the damn games. And if you don't want to show up, shut your damn mouth. There you go.
Period. And you got to remember, again, you might not like what I'm going to say, but it's true. San Francisco 49ers run a bigger organization than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's a fact. Any player, you can yell all you want. Any player will tell you the facility is better. They take care of player management, health-wise, and things. But there's a lot. Structurally, it's ran better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You can be biased. It's a fact. Any player will tell you that. coach, GM, they'll all tell you the same thing. And not just that, you got to remember, Mike's come from Texas. Texas, football is God. So everybody shows up to the games. Everybody's there. It's all that. Tampa Bay is a transient place. And it said the culture is not like Texas. And it is a culture shock when you come in there and you come here and you see empty seats in the stands, or you wearing a red jersey and all you see is green and black and yellow in the stands. It hits a little different, or you got to go a silent count in your home stadium on a primetime game. It's a little different. So I wouldn't just say, it's all on that, but if he wants, he's earned the right to go somewhere if he wants to play there and feel that environment and that kind of football, the love of the game in another state or another team. He's earned the right to do so. He's given the team everything he's had. And most importantly, he gave him a Super Bowl championship. So I have no problems with anything he decides to do.
No problem at it. And no, I would say, Tom Brady would disagree with you. He believes the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a model organization. And the reason why he chose them is because of the Glazers and the commitment. And a lot of people forget this. They made the commitment to go all in, and it didn't work out. It worked out the 1 year. It didn't work out the second year. It didn't work out the third year.
It's funny, it went backwards.
It did. But that happens. That's football. Yeah. That's what happens in football. Just because, listen, you're a play away, a couple plays away from being back-to-back Super Bowl champions. You're a couple players away from being back-to-back Super Bowl champions. If you don't lose Chris Godwin that year, if you don't lose Tristan Wirfs, if Antonio Brown doesn't go crazy and get with an OnlyFans model who licks the toilet the night before the Jets game, sorry, you have to mention him. But if you keep those guys on the team, and those players are there, you feel like you have an opportunity to win back-to-back Super Bowls. Bucs fans forget this, and it's like, well, the 49ers are a better ran organization. And I say, no, I think the Buccaneers are a model organization. Remember, they did everything for Mike. They re-signed Mike. They re-signed Baker. They take care of their former players. When Mike needed that 1,000-yard receiving record, they got him that record. There was no animosity. And if it was animosity from Mike Evans for this Buccaneer organization, fine, move on. But again, as I tell a lot of Bucs fans, just because he left doesn't necessarily mean he's correct. He may be wrong. He may not even play a whole season. He hasn't been able to play a whole season the last couple of years. So let's see how it all plays out. Let's not think the season's over with. The Bucs have gone through transitions before. The Bucs have lost cornerstones before, and they've been okay. Let's see how this all plays out.
Well said.
Thank you. The eternal optimist. My final thoughts are, man, I can't wait for this draft chime. We're 8 days away from the NFL draft. We'll be ready here on the Sports Web. I promise we'll have 2 shows this week. We'll have 3 shows this week, Monday, Wednesday, and, of course, live from Up the Block Barbershop. You don't have to go far. It's Up the Block Barbershop, 4946 Moog Road in Holiday, Florida, whether you want a haircut, beard trim, or fade, they got you covered. Go see my favorite barber, Ricky, and all the talented barbers on Saturday live on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. And as always, we're just killing it with our content on the Blake and Blake Show. We appreciate it. Happy birthday to my mother. That's a final thought. Let me tell you something. If I didn't have my mother supporting me and doing this, I would not be where I'm at. I love my father. He was big-time creator of the Sports Web. But my mother always believed. She believed when I was 14 years old, whether it was Pasco County Public Access, whether it was taking me to 3 days a week to Orlando for an internship that didn't pay, because she believed in my radio career. She believed in my sports broadcasting career. And when it came to the Sports Web, I always tell this story and will continue to tell this story. I had doubts about being able to host my own radio show. We sat down, the meeting of the minds, if you will, at a great Chili's, me, my father, my mother. My father says, I don't know if you can do it. My mother said, go kick their ass. I know you can do it. You're the greatest sports broadcaster out there. I love you for that, Mom. That's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Rolex reporter out. What do you have to say, Blake Anthony?
Man, that's hard to follow, man. I can't. Looking forward to the draft coming up. Me and Peter are going to keep rocking it out. Always check Peter out at the Sports Web. Check me out at Sports.49 and my reels.
Love him.
I love him too. And just keep change the culture, man. I do have a message. Change the culture here. You have a division that 3 teams in the division have a strong culture. New Orleans, Carolina, and Atlanta have strong cultures. Tampa doesn't really have one. Well, you can always, it's never too late to start one. What will it be? You can make a change. You stop all the negativity, come to the games, make experiences great for everybody in the next generation of players, because unfortunately that's how it goes. Time moves on, times change. That's what I got.
All right, Michael Jackson. I love that Man in the Mirror reference there, as that movie is coming out here in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully,
I was not planned.
Well, it was good. It was good, my friend. It's a good transition as always for Blake Anthony. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Definitely tune in next time here on the Blake and Blake Show. We'll see you on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television Monday night at 9 o'clock. As always, happy Sunday, guys. Go Bucs, go Rays, go Lightning.
See you guys next time.
Yo.